Well, guys, an abortion activist sat down with a group of kids for their YouTube channel, and as an invited guest, told them that abortion is part of God's plan. If you guys wouldn't mind really quick, though, giving this video a like. You guys have been awesome with that. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this video with your friends and family. I really want to get the word out about what is taking place in our world right now. And also, if you're new, I'd love it if you would subscribe. I really believe you guys are going to like the content you see here. We're looking for a great year here at the channel in 2019. So getting back to this abortion activist, her name is Amelia Bono. She is the co-founder of the hashtag Shout Your Abortion. She was a featured guest on a kids YouTube channel where they go on and they invite certain guests on to talk about different topics going on in the world, some controversial. This one, they invited the abortion activist to come on and discuss abortion. Now, this was about with 6 kids that, had various different ages. Some were teenagers, some were even younger with that. Amelia goes on to explain to the kids in the video that she herself had an abortion. She went into detail about that, discussing specifically some kids had asked, well, if you didn't want the baby, why did you allow it to happen? Why did you not take the proper precautions and use protection and things like that? And, she went on to just, to say that, well, mistakes happen, so on and so on and so forth, that it wasn't her original plan, but it in fact did happen. But she went on to say that she had no regrets about it. And she felt that as soon as she had the abortion, that she immediately did the right thing. Now, for the most part, the 6 kids that were basically interviewing her agreed with her. There was one kid, though, that kind of softly pushed back on her as far as what Amelia was saying. When she asked the boy, what he thought about the abortions, and he says, well, I think, that if certain people are being reckless, that the baby should be put up for adoption, because that would still give these babies a chance at life. Amelia, of course, she disagreed with the boy and said, I feel that if that's the case, I mean, there's still a child out there that would potentially be mine or somebody else's that would have an abortion. And I'm thinking to myself, good, that's a good thing. We want to give these babies a chance at life. So what, if you're not going to have guilt that you had an abortion, you're going to have guilt that you went ahead and had the baby, gave it up for adoption, and just knowing in your head for the rest of the life that you created a baby that's out there somewhere, that you're not going to have a part of their life or anything like that, but you're fine with the abortion, but you're somehow worried about that. What Amelia was really trying to really slam home with these kids is the fact that it's her body, that it's her choice, that she says whether or not that child has a right to life or not. So when the boy brought up the adoption, she immediately shut that out. Now, she went on to ask the boy if he was religious. The boy said, well, I believe in God, which, by the way, doesn't make you religious if you just simply believe in God. She then went on to ask him, well, what do you think God thinks of abortion? And the boy said, well, I don't think he has a problem with it, because babies are still being born anyway. So by those that want to have them and everything like that. So the boy said, I don't think he has a problem with that. And you could really tell that she was really, pushing her agenda on these kids, especially this one boy. The rest of the kids pretty much lined up and agreed with everything she said, although she was pretty good as far as pushing her views on them. And they probably felt like, oh, we shouldn't really argue back if we have a difference of opinion with her. But so when the boy said, I believe in God, and I think he thinks it's okay because babies are still being born, what Amelia said to that was, well, I really believe that it's all part of God's plan. And I'm just thinking to myself, here you are, pretty much telling these kids that abortion is part of God's plan. You're lying to their face. It's basically like if Satan were to tell you a bunch of lies. It's like this abortion activist is playing the role of what Satan would say. And I'm listening to this and just hearing these lies being spewed out to these kids. And I feel awful for them, that they're being fed this propaganda and fed these lies. And she's bringing God into it and saying, it's all part of God's plan. No, don't worry, kids. It's totally fine for this to take place. She went on and asked another girl who had asked her some questions and said, do you get, bullied for, or do you get people that disagree with you for being, the people that are pro-life, that, that come at you because they're defining you by this one moment in your life to have an abortion? And she says, yeah, of course I get, the pro-life people that don't like what I did, but I don't really like to call them pro-life. She's like, I refer to them more as anti-choice. Pretty much, she was saying that, I'm more pro-life than they are because I say, whether or not the baby can have life or not, and I am the judge, jury, and executioner for all things relating to my body because it's my body and it's my choice. She went on to ask the girl if she was religious, and she said that she was a Catholic. And when Amelia asked her, what do Catholics for the most part think of abortion? And she says, well, for the most part, they're against it because they believe it's murder. And then the girl went on to say, but I mean, I do the best I can to get out there on social media, and I put out posts, and I try to remind people all the time, and I'll say it in a Facebook post or a Twitter message or whatever, and say that abortion is not murder. And I'm just thinking to myself, you have to be kidding me. And this girl was probably more, like preteen, but even still, you have a young teen saying something like this, putting out posts saying abortion is not murder. It's like these are the generation of kids that are coming up in the world, which is really, really scary to think. Amelia went on to say that I like to look at as abortion. The kids asked her specific questions about, well, what happens when you go down to get the abortion? How does it work? And so Amelia went on to describe what happens, as far as it's like they basically just vacuum the baby right on out. She says, I like to think of it more as a really bad dentist appointment. Is how she worded it. Just a bad dentist appointment. And she just made it seem like it was just no big deal. We kill these babies, but they're not really babies. They're just fetuses. See, that she went on to say, a lot of people think that life starts at conception, and I don't believe that at all, she said. She says, that's just a lie that, that the right likes to make up, that these old white men in government who like to try to tell me and tell other women what they can and can't do with their bodies. She's like, it's just all a lie, that they're trying to spread. I mean, she just fills these kids' minds with all of this junk. The one little kid that tried to push back just a little bit, she pretty much got him to line up with her views by what she said about, oh, God thinks it's okay. And the boy was like, yeah, I don't think he thinks it's anything wrong with it because plenty of other people are still having babies. Well, here's a stat for you. In 2018, more than 42 million deaths from abortion in the world. 42 million. And here's this Amelia say, oh, no, it's fine. It's not murder. 42 million. Don't even give them up for adoption. She didn't even want to have that as an option. No, that's just ridiculous because there's still a child out there that's, that I would know is mine, that I gave life to, but I'm not going to be a part of their life. So therefore, they don't have a right to live. Hearing all this, and God thinks, we know this as Christians, as believers, abortion is murder. And that's not popular to say. But so what? Who's going to speak up for the babies that lose their lives? People wonder why there's still curses on the United States of America because we've allowed abortion to occur for so long. They wonder why. Because of garbage like this that's being spread out to the younger generation now, that's going to grow up with this mindset that it's just completely fine and there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. God says it, God approves. God says it's okay. No, he doesn't. That is a lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell, is what it is. This woman was basically Satan disguised as a woman, feeding these kids nothing but lies and propaganda. And it really shows you that we are in the last days and that Jesus Christ is coming back soon. If you don't know him as Lord and Savior today, I would encourage you to accept him as your Lord and Savior today, because he is coming soon. And I guarantee you, he's going to work all this out. The blood of the unborn cries out to God. Those that have been killed, those babies that have been basically slaughtered, not given a chance at life, God knows, he remembers, and he will have vengeance over it. But guys, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your comments, your feedback down below. What do you think about Amelia Bono from the hashtag Shout Your Abortion movement, telling these kids that God says it's just perfectly fine. It's all part of his plan. It's dangerous times, guys. It's seriously dangerous times. I'll be back with more, though. You guys take care. Please be safe out there. God bless each and every single one of you. And I will talk with you soon.